three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto. This is AZ Crypto, and back from being sick as Mr. Fromo makes his return. Please don't forget to hit that like and most importantly, that subscribe button. That gigantically helps us out. So if you have not done so, stop right now, hit that subscribe button, get locked in as we are very early on in this bull run, Mr. Fromo. And a lot of people are talking about XRP. Obviously, last week, just about a week ago, the news hit today that XRP was found not to be a security as of now. And that triggered a gigantic day in the crypto market temporarily, not just with XRP, with other tokens. In fact, XRP ran from the 40s all the way into the low 90s. And it's now retraced just a little bit, actually retraced into the 70s. So if you got back in on a second pump, you're now up about 10%. But Mr. FOMO, XRP generating a lot of news in and also outside of crypto. So everyone is reaching out to us and asking, is it a good time to still buy XRP? And the answer kind of depends on what your goals are. Go ahead.
Yeah, it depends on what your goals are, what your time frame is. If your time frame is through the bull run, then this gives you a great opportunity to build something special. But if you were in XRP before that beautiful candle that you see there on the chart I'm sharing, you made quite a bit in the last week, and your faith in XRP has paid off, because those are the kinds of pumps that you look for in crypto. And then look, it has a little bit of a retrace, but then it starts to build support again. And so this looks like one of those things where you might not be missing out if you're not already in. We are still a little over 6 months to the halving event, right? And so we're probably 7 months, 8 months out. And so you've got this great time to build your portfolio. Now, I'm not saying maybe dive into XRP now, wait for it to retrace, wait for the market to pull back maybe a little bit more. And then you might grab yourself a bag or start DCAing into XRP. But if you were already in there and you had the ability to, maybe you take a little bit of profits, maybe you take out your original investment, ride with house money. We'll talk about that later in a short.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And it might be here on a second little pump here. Because a lot of people are saying it's destined for $1 over the next few weeks. And I can see that.
Get yourself another 25%.
Well, I anticipate, I keep saying this, Bitcoin is going to break that 31,000 barrier this summer, and you're going to see some alts run again after that happens. I really believe in that theory. And so I do think XRP is a decent buy here, but you got to be willing to take profits at any point. I think it will do well. I've seen some crazy price predictions between $20 and $30. Guys, remember, when people say stuff like that, you got to look at the market cap. And so the market cap for XRP is already extraordinarily high. Now, I'm not saying it can't do well, but for XRP to do $20 to $30, you're asking for a lot of money to flow.
I mean, it really is going to take a whole lot of market makers to jump in at that point to create those tens of billions of dollars. One of our partner channels had a great video about this, and he predicted that it might go to $3. And I think that maybe that's a little bit, I hate predictions, but that's a more realistic idea. Just because that market cap is so much higher than the rest. You see it's number 4 on the coin market cap list. So that means it's just a little bit behind. Well, not just a little bit, but it's not too far behind big names like Ethereum and other high market caps. So this could be one of those stability builders in your portfolio, but I wouldn't expect a 10 to 20x out of it.
No. So the market cap is 42.5 billion. The daily volume right now is sitting at 22.7 billion. Is that sustainable over the entire early portion of the bull run? I don't know. Now, I do think we'll see a higher price here, but again, it's up to you to take profits, to take advantage of that, because like Mr. Fomo said, at some point there probably will be a cooling off period. There already was, went from 90 down to 70. So 70 was a good
re-entry point, yeah.
Second pump. Like we're kind of waiting here, hopefully for Litecoin. We'll talk about that at the end of the program. One that we talked about last week that I mentioned that's really done extremely well, Mr. Fomo, is Chainlink. The episode that we talked about that would be a good buy was at the $6 range. And if you got in there, and I talked about last week, honestly, I did not have a huge Chainlink bag. So taking profits made a lot of sense when it went up to 7. But sometimes in crypto, you can never time these things perfectly. What has happened to Chainlink since? Well, it's gone up dramatically since then as we've gone up over $8. So Chainlink has done really, really well, Mr. Fomo. And it's one of those things where this one was consolidating around $5 for a long time. It had done really poorly at the end of the last bull run and obviously during the bear. So a lot of people were frustrated. But 6 to 8 in a week is nothing to sneeze about. I mean, that's a nice little run there.
Yeah, you get yourself a little 33% pump. That's you really, at this point in the market, that's a great return.
We don't want to give financial advice, but if you watch that episode about $6 Chainlink and you got some and you didn't sell when it went to 7, now it's to 8, you may want to consider maybe taking some profits at this point. Just not financial advice, but remember, early in the bull run, money tends to cycle in and out of these projects. Right now, you're seeing a lot of volume in XRP. You're seeing a lot of volume in Solana, and you saw some volume pop up here in Chainlink. I don't know if that's sustainable, to be honest.
Right. Nothing's going to go straight up forever. You saw that XRP candle. That was beautiful, but that's not going to happen forever. You saw it draw back, 20 cents almost immediately on that candle, or at least it looked immediate when you looked at the monthly chart. But it's going to draw back. It's going to have those little pits. It's going to have those moments where it consolidates. Mm-hmm. So the important thing for you is to make sure you stay on top of it.
Yeah. And so basically my kind of strategy here is whenever Bitcoin kind of consolidates, and we've been consolidating around the 30,000 range between high 29s and 31K for a while now. Some tokens that have not run that are popular that people like, those are the ones that will pick up steam. And then these alts will kind of take turns until we really get into things, right? And I really do believe we're going to see a lot more liquidity in the fall, late summer, early fall than we are seeing right now. Okay. But
absolutely. I mean, that fits in with what the charts have said over, historically with the Bitcoin halvings is about 6 months leading in is where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And so we're right in that sweet spot. So people are going to want to start putting money into the market, sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Another one that I want to talk about that I mentioned just a few days ago was HBAR. And boy, was that good timing if you picked that up, because this week, HBAR, Mr. Fomo, has done really, really well. And here's another one again. Didn't do as well as some people liked, but you saw a dramatic rise here. You went below 5, and then last night, I was up, don't ask me why, very late. You saw it go all the way up to 6. You've already seen already a retrace. Here's the thing now. That's second time now HBAR has had kind of a dramatic rise. Earlier when Bitcoin went down, this is when Gary Gensler made that announcement saying, I think these things are security. We saw HBAR went from 4 into 5, and now we've seen it go to high 4s up to 6, and it's gone down to 5.7. But what I've noticed about HBAR is the volume right now is doing well. So it's not nearly as big as XRP, still 1.9 billion, so not extremely small, but daily volume 180 million. Is this sustainable? I don't know. But this is now the second time that when Bitcoin has kind of regressed or stalled temporarily, because that's what happens during bull runs. Remember, we talked about this. Bitcoin never goes straight up. HBAR has gone back with it, but over a few weeks, it's done a really, really good pull back up. So I am putting that in the back of my mind now. Remember, I'm not married to these tokens. What I've noticed some people do is like, all right, I'm an HBAR fan. I'm a Chainlink fan. I'm a Solana fan. I'm only into ETH. I'm only into Cosmos. I'm only into Engine or Injective or whatever token you choose. That's the wrong approach. You do not want to be married to these tokens. You kind of want to follow where the money is going, right? And so right now, if I was starting from scratch, I would be looking at Solana right now. I would be looking in the very, very short term at XRP if I really think it get to $1, because a 20% pump is a nice pump. And so here's the thing, like a lot of people are chasing, going very, very low into these really low cap, dangerous coins, shaking these meme coins. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to catch 10 to 20% profits over weeks, because those add up quickly. And then as the bull run gets more advanced, like we're in the very, very early stages. Like I said, it's almost right now like you're taking your wife to the doctor and you haven't had the baby yet. That's how early we are. But once the baby is born and once the baby starts talking, then you'll see in 1 week a token go up 50 to 60 to 70, 80%, or a 2x within a week, like we saw in the last one. We're just not there. And it's hard to be patient, right, Mr. FOMO? Because a lot of people watching the show are recovered Voyager people trying to make that money back. But what
recovering,
you don't want to
active process.
You don't want to, like we talked about this, you don't want to chase pumps right now, and you don't want to get too greedy, right? We'll talk about Litecoin in a little bit, and my strategy has kind of changed over the last 24 hours, and I'll talk about that a little bit.
You mentioned, be a fan. You don't want to be, a fan. I still think you could be a fan of these tokens. You just don't have to be a groupie, right? Like it doesn't have to stay in your portfolio, right? Be there for the rock. Be there for the rock show. Just don't be in bed with it after the rock show's over, right? Like be there for the pump and then get out once you've made your money. That's the idea. You can still be a fan of HBAR, right? Like I'm still a fan of HBAR. They do something totally different than blockchain. They have a hash graph, and so I'm interested to see how that works out, because I love diversity in my portfolio. And that's one of the things that maybe you should look at with HBAR is down the line, as it comes back around, you have another dip in that price. You look at HBAR to provide diversity to your portfolio. But certainly don't be that groupie that is still with the rock star after the show. You just want to be there for the show. Mm-hmm. You just want to be there for the takeoff, make your money, and then get out of there. You don't want to hang around for the rest of it.
Now, I want to talk about Litecoin, because I've been talking about that a lot. When we first started mentioning Litecoin was actually in the mid 70s. That's the first time I did my short, and I started talking about it on the show, and went all the way up dramatically into the 114 range. And I said that was a great pump, but remember, if you don't take profits during those times, you regret it. So it retraced into the 90s, went back up to 104, and retraced down to the low 90s. Now, am I hopeful for one more pump? Yes, but I'm being very realistic here. So if someone is telling you 200, 250 Litecoin, they're just not being realistic. I'm still hoping for 100 before, but Mr. FOMO, it is possible, because in crypto, you have to, and anything in life, you have to look at information and you have to adapt. Okay. You have to adapt. I'm trying to be realistic here. So if 114 was the top before the halving, right? And I'm definitely not married to any token, whether it's Litecoin or anything. If 114 was the high, right? And now it's retraced to 90. If we get price action into the low 100s, that might be it for me. That might be it, right? It might get to 120 and 130 right before the halving. But if I can get another 10 to 12%, that might be it for me, because I don't want to take the risk of retracement, because I want those funds available for the next opportunity. Go from one opportunity to another, because you just don't know in crypto what might be announced, right? And also, I like exposure to BTC and ETH as much as possible. So those have been, I wouldn't say dormant, but they haven't been doing amazing. And so eventually those are going to go up. And so just with the Litecoin, if you are expecting, hopefully it does get back to 114, but there is a possibility that 114 was the midterm high before the halving. And I'm not interested. Remember the original short. I'm not interested in being in this after the halving. having. I'm not saying it's going to go down to zero. It'll do actually decent when the bull run really gets going. But for now, I'm trying to take advantage of that hype before the halving. We've seen it go up twice, one big time, one short, and now looking for one more pump. But I don't want to get too greedy. So if I get into the 100s this weekend and I stay and I don't take profits and it goes back down to 90 or the high 80s in the week and then even lower after the halving, it's kind of on me then, right? It's kind of on me. So I just wanted to make sure our viewers understood when we talk about these tokens, it's in a limited amount of time. That's why you got to watch every episode of Teaching Crypto, right? You miss a week, you miss a lot.
And I'm showing the chart there. This is the last Litecoin halving, sort of the week of the halving. So when you get to the week of the halving, it looks like there's a dramatic drop in the price, right? You sort of buy the rumor, sell the news, as it.
We're not the week yet.
We're not in the week yet, but this chart shows us exactly 6 days before the halving. The last halving was August 5th, 2019. You see the price go down. It takes a big, steep drop. And so what I'm warning you is, based on history, you have a pump leading into the halving, then you have a drop in the week of and after the halving, and that doesn't come back for another 4 months, right? That next really decent, significant green candle doesn't happen until almost Christmas of 2019. So probably you're going to find a great re-entry point after the halving. But once we get to that week of the halving, you're going to want to be out of Litecoin, because historically it's shown us it's taken quite a downturn.
Yeah, so we're 2 weeks out now, so this is kind of it. So hopefully you got in on the first two pumps, the big one and the mini one. And if you bought at 90, you're in profit right now. You should be okay. I think we're still headed up a little bit here. But again, I was hoping for the 120 area. I'm looking now, and I'm not 100% positive we're going to get that. Part of it is XRP kind of stole the show. A lot of money went into XRP last week. That was kind of unexpected. And I don't want to say that changed the markets, but what you saw was Bitcoin pump very temporarily, almost to 32, and then quickly retrace because it just wasn't ready for that next leg up.
Well, it lets you know how little is actually in the crypto market.
Yeah.
In the broader view compared to stocks and that, because there was money flowing in, but it was flowing out of other projects in crypto, right? So we still haven't reached that mass adoption stage. We still haven't reached that bull run stage where people are coming in that aren't normally in, or people that are in are throwing
they're asking
in, right?
They're asking. Like I had someone ask me today,
right? And I think that curiosity is there. Like there's a bunch of crypto curious people wandering around, but that means it's still time to get yourself in, right? The people who are in the know are starting to get curious about what's happening. When we get into the Super Bowl commercial point of the bull run, and people are naming stadiums after crypto companies, might be time to cash out in the bull run. But we're way off from that. You're still at the genius point. You're still checking in before we get to the pumps.
So really, there's two things you could be doing. What we're trying to do is take profits here and there, but you could be building your bag over things that have not run, right? So take a look at the things that have been dormant, because when I brought up Chainlink, people were laughing. And now look, it went from 6 to 8 in 8-9 days. And so that's how things happen quickly, but sometimes quietly, right? So if you're not watching this program or paying attention, you miss that entire Chainlink thing. But it's, again, 20 to 25%, great opportunities here. But remember, don't change the pumps. You don't want to go in now and be like, all right, I'm going all in on Chainlink. What is the project now that's kind of been dormant? And I have some ideas that we're going to talk about tomorrow, so stay tuned. I've got one project I don't think we've discussed even once on this program that's quietly gone up 57%, low market cap, very easy to buy for the beginning crypto person, and I think it's going to do very well. And it caught my attention late last night. I was looking at some tokens, and so I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. Really quickly, if you're in,
I'm going to talk about a fan request tomorrow. I think you're going to talk about a token that you found. One of our subs put in a request to talk about a token. I did some research last night, and I kind of fell in love with this token. So
Oh, wow.
so be here tomorrow for this show. It's going to be a special one.
Yeah, Voyager, just in case you don't want to get cashed out and you want your tokens, you got to transfer. Date is almost up. So just a heads up on that. Yeah, please. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZ Crypto. You guys have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.
See you.